Welcome back to ASUG News. I'm Gina Marchese. I have with me here several ASUG volunteers. I'll start with Cathy Barrett. She's with Phillips Healthcare. Jennifer Buko with Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Publishing. Brian Durning with Dell. Thank you for joining us today.
Morning.
Thank you for having us.
I thought it would be really great to talk a little bit about being involved in ASUG, both as members and volunteers. You've all been volunteers for several years, and Brian, I'll talk to you first, perhaps. Tell me a little bit about why you're volunteering for ASUG.
I wanted to give back to the community. For years, I've taken advantage of membership, the learning opportunities, getting advice from mentors, people I look up to, and now it's time for me to step up and give back to the community that I took from.
That's great. Jennifer, tell me a little bit about why volunteering is important to you. I know you volunteer personally within your juvenile diabetes, is it?
Junior achievement.
Junior achievement, and Alzheimer's as well, right?
Alzheimer's,
Yes,
correct.
exactly. So tell me why that was a natural progression for you with volunteering for ASUG. What does that do for you?
Well, for me, I've always been active philanthropic-wise over the last couple years, and I feel giving back to community in itself is very rewarding and very enriching. But in the ASUG ecosystem, I think it's really important to recycle that excitement and enthusiasm for SAP, for ASUG, and really kind of regenerate that, for other members.
And Cathy, I know that you've been an ASUG volunteer for many years. I wonder if you can share a little bit about the personal and professional benefits of volunteering for ASUG.
Well, yeah, for the personal side, obviously meeting all these wonderful people, being part of this community, and I've made a lot of great friends and personal relationships. From the professional side, I can't say enough about collaboration and learning. I've learned so much that I've been able to bring back to my day-to-day job.
Now, I know recently, Cathy, you were really instrumental in starting a new special interest group, a SIG within ASUG, and I wonder if you can tell us the backstory a little bit about why that was important and how you felt empowered as a volunteer to do that.
Yeah, well, I've been part of a larger community for 5 or 6 years, and during our education events and other webcasts, many of the customers would come out and reach out to me directly and want to find, had an interest to focus the topic a bit more, which made me think we needed to maybe start a new SIG, a smaller focused SIG. So I reached out to ASUG and the board and everywhere, even through other volunteers, and we got it approved about a year and a half ago, and we kicked off this new SIG, and I'm quite passionate about the topic in this particular SIG too, because it's really related to my day-to-day job. So I'm excited, and I'd like to share that we started this last year, and already this year the SIG has grown tremendously, actually.
You should be very proud.
I'm excited.
That's excellent. Thank you. And Jennifer, I know you've been you've been an employee of many SAP customer companies over the course of your career, and being an ASUG volunteer in the last 2 or 3 years, particularly with your business objects experience, maybe your new employers didn't understand the value of being an ASUG member and volunteer, and I understand you have some insight to share about how you brought back the value of ASUG within your employer.
Yeah, yes, that's correct. About a few years ago, I joined Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Publishing and realized that we had a large SAP user base, but here in Orlando and also in Boston, and throughout our company. We are a global company, but realized that there was some gaps in training and knowledge and just really understanding the capabilities of SAP. And also, our company was paying an installation membership for ASUG, and I said, we need to grab this opportunity, bring that to our staff, bring it to our employees, and have them embrace this opportunity. So really kind of grassrooting it at HMH, and we even offered to host a neighborhood networking event so then we can get and employees engaged and being wanting to attend that session, and then being more enthusiastic about attending chapter meetings and using influence and tools online to be able to help them through their day-to-day jobs.
That's really insightful, and I hope more employers understand and appreciate the value. I commend you for doing that within your company. Now, Brian, for you, it's a little different in the sense that your volunteer experience has actually added to your resume a bit. And I know that's kind of the unspoken, but there is a professional development benefit of being engaged and volunteering with ASUG.
Definitely. I don't think any one of us here, up or even within ASUG, intends to better their career by exploiting the ASUG membership, but it just happened to be a side benefit. My current employer, Dell, was looking for a seasoned professional who was passionate about the work that they do, that they had volunteer activities, that they were connected back into the Business Objects SAP ecosystem, and they came across my profile and looked at it, talked to me a bit, and we made the connection.
You know, I understand that your experiences benefited you both personally and professionally. Jennifer, you talked a little bit about how that brought it back to your company. Maybe, Cathy, you can share a little bit about, you started this new SIG, how has that gone back to your company? What does your employer feel about your engagement with ASUG?
Well, I think they're excited. We've also been able to engage some partners in that work with this community now, and they're going to be helping us back at Phillips, actually, to work on some technical issues too. So I think that there's a return on investment already, and again, from a day-to-day point of view, even reaching out throughout the community, we've been able to actually learn. We've had a lot of benefits from the learning perspective too.
You know, and that reminds me that, Brian, you get a lot of feedback that being a volunteer actually brings benefits to you as a business professional within your employer.
That's
so
correct.
what can you share about that?
Well, within Dell, we have an opportunity for training. We have a large user base. We have approximately 31,000 users in our business objects environment, and everyone's at a different level or different need for that. What ASUG does in my volunteer position, we're able to go out. We have these great webinars that the different SIGs put on that are recorded by ASUG and available at any time. So at different levels, I challenge them to go out there. I say, look at all the content that is out there and the learning opportunities, so we don't have to spend that extra money necessarily for training, but it does help.
Now, what would you say to someone, this will be an open question to you all, when they say, well, volunteering, it takes so much of your personal time, I'm not sure it's worth the effort. Tell me a little bit about how you would maybe not oversell, but sell the idea of volunteering to someone who maybe is looking to get started. Jennifer?
I think for me, it really was to help me get Houghton Mifflin in the footprint of SAP and really kind of open their eyes of the art of possibility within our investment in SAP and our investment in ASUG. So it was really to harness that passion and get them focused on what the art of possibility and the future could hold for us if we realized the benefits of our investments. And it was just, I would say, more contagious. More folks talked about it, and it's when something's positive and gets momentum, you engage more folks in the organization. And I feel it's been very rewarding for me, both professionally and personally.
Cathy, do you have anything to
Well,
add to that?
I second that as well. I mean, and again, I just think the networking that I've made, the connections, and I keep saying learning, but part of the reason I became a volunteer in the beginning was to basically learn a bit more about SAP, and I had started new at Phillips, so it was kind of a way to gain some knowledge. But again, as the years have gone along, it's again collaboration, networking, and friendships now too, from a personal level. Yeah.
We hear that a lot. There's a
Amazing.
lot of passion. I've seen myself just being engaged in this community so long, and they talk about the connections they've made. And maybe you can share, Brian, a little bit about some of the SAP connections you've made. I think there's a misnomer that you have to be a large company to have a connection with SAP directly.
That is not true. I sit on the Crystal Influence Council, and we have members from small companies, large companies that provide direct feedback to SAP and on the Crystal roadmap. So you don't have to be a large company to be influenced or be connected with SAP and have a point of contact.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Cathy, Jennifer, Brian. Really appreciate your insight. I applaud you for your volunteer and your service. I know that members appreciate all that you do. We really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
For joining us today on
Thank you.
ASUG News. I'm Gina Marchese. Please visit asugnews.com for more information and access to our blogs, and also visit ASUG online for access to our broadcast recordings. Thank you.